Well, that was fun. Kind of muddy out here today. That was on a little bit of an uphill slope and off canter just a slight. And as I'd back up, the tires would just start spinning and she'd slide up and slide off to the side. So I had to attack it at a different angle. And good thing I got out and double checked, because the trailer was actually too high. My fifth wheel would have shot under. The pin would have went over the top of the fifth wheel, and that would have been good. So I dollied down a little bit and got her all lined up and double checked and double checked. So no damages that way, right? All right. A few videos back, some people had commented on me when I picked up in Virginia that time, or a couple weeks ago, how I slid my trailer tires, and they didn't understand how that works and all that. I'm sorry that I don't. It's just it's so second nature to me. I've been doing it for so long. I don't realize there's a lot of people out there that don't understand how things work like this. So I'm going to explain it to you. So the people that understand this, bear with me, but there's a lot of people out there that don't understand this. So what trucks, most trucks are set up with sliding systems, okay? The trailer has a slide and the fifth wheel has a slide. And what it's for is weight distribution, okay? Okay, if the trailer tires are slid all the way to the back, all the cargo that would be in the center of the trailer in here, that cargo would be all pushing down on the front of the trailer, or on the tractor, okay? On the tractor axis. And if you slide that up underneath there, okay, more of the weight would be transferred to the back. Let's be a little bit absurd here for a second. Let's say there's so many thousands of pounds back here and thousands of pounds up here. Let's just say they took the trailer axles and they slid them all the way up to the very center of the trailer. Wouldn't all the weight of the trailer be sitting on the trailer axles only, and it wouldn't be putting much weight on the tractor axles then, would it? So do you understand? It's like a teeter-totter effect. The more you slide the tires up, the more is at the fulcrum where it balances at. So if you have a little too much weight up front, you can slide the tires forward and some of that weight gets transferred. The cargo doesn't move. It's just where the carrying capacity of the wheels are in a different area. Therefore, there's more weight on the trailer than there is on the tractor. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I understand it. I don't know if I'm making any sense to you guys. People that don't understand it, if that makes any sense to them. Okay, we're back here at the back of the trailer now, and as you can see, here's some tandems. Here's the tandems, and these slide, and they're on a rail. This rail slides. Yeah, let's get underneath here. Underneath here, there's this rail. Okay, see the holes? That's a metal rail. Here's another shot of it up close on this side. Okay, it's like an angle iron, but it's got holes in it. Okay, now that track is welded to the bottom of the trailer, and then the trailer truck, the tandems, what they do is they ride inside of this, see? And when they ride inside of this whole truck here will slide. When you pop that pin out, and there's another pin in the back, and there's two on the other side also, there's 4 pins altogether. Well, when you pull these pins in, here's the other one back here. All right, when you pull them pins in, this track, the truck that the tandems are sitting on, this is the truck, this metal piece right here, that's called a truck. That would slide forward, okay? And the way to pop these pins in is there's a valve right here. You see how they just popped in? Let me do it. See how they pop in and out? That's on air pressure. Okay? Now those are popped in, meaning this will slide now. So what I'll do is I'll come up here in the truck and I'll lock down the trailer brakes by just leaving the valve pushed in, or left out. There's 2 valves in the dash. There's one for the tractor brakes and one for the trailer brakes. I'll get in here. Oh, it's already out. So what I'll do is I'll get in here and I'll release the tractor brakes but I leave the trailer brakes popped out, so the brakes are still locked on the trailer. Put it in reverse. I look in my mirror, and she all slides backwards until there. Felt a bump. Okay. Now I'll pop the trailer back in. Those pins will pop in. They might not be lined up with one of those holes. So what I'll do is I'll pull my hand valve down, and I'll pull forward. And that will slide it until it lines up and locks with there. I just felt it. I can't tell on the camera, but I just felt it. I'm going to do the same thing in reverse now. Okay, I felt it lock in. Now if we pop the brakes, shut the truck off so you can hear me. Shut the truck off so you can hear me, and grab the glove. We're going to walk back here to the back of the trailer now, and you'll see that the pins have popped back in by the air pressure. By pushing, somehow this valve works back here. When you push the brake button in on the dash, it supplies air to the other side of this valve and pops it back closed. So as we go, there's the button down there, and as you can see, the pins are popped back in. All right, so if we go back out here, so we'll go back out here and get a distant look at this. And as you can see, the trailer tandems, which are right there, they're slid forward now. Slid forward. Backwards in the mirror here, in the view. Anyway, they're slid back forward, and whatever cargo that might be in the center of the trailer, all of the cargo, so to say, some of it's going to be hanging on the other side of those tandems now. Okay. Now, granted, I'm empty. The reason I slide them is for shorter wheelbase, for going around corners. It's easier to navigate the highways with a shorter wheelbase. So what I do is I shuck them up under there so I can make tighter turns around corners. But when you start putting cargo in these trailers, that's how they balance the weight distribution of the truck out. Now, it's got to be somewhat fairly close from the factory. When they load the trailer, they can't put everything up in the nose because there won't be enough slide there to make a difference. So they got to space it out in the truck, or in the trailer, accordingly. But this here is more like a fine tuning of the weight distribution. Okay, so when you've got a real heavy load, let's say you got 35,000 pound tractor and trailer and everything, and you put 45,000 pounds worth of cargo, that's 80,000 pounds. You've got to be very well distributed on your axles, very, very close. You can go 30 on this kind of a tractor truck setup, a 5-axle regular setup. You can put 34,000, and you can go 20,000 on your steer axle if it's big enough, if it's strong enough, if the tires can handle it, if the axle is rated for it and all that. But generally they say 12,000. Okay, my truck will go 20,000. The reason being is that I've got a big old heavy axle on the front of this truck because I've got such a heavy sleeper and everything, and it puts a lot of weight up there. That's why I run the bigger tires on the front. Remember last week we had the blowout on the steer tire blew out on that car hauler trailer. He was running regular size tires. Now he probably didn't need to have the big tires, but that's what it blew out. If I ran regular size tires, I run the risk of blowing my steer tire out and having that same kind of wreck. We don't want that, so that's a bad thing. So I choose to run a bigger, heavier tire. They don't cost a lot more, a little bit. They cost a little bit more. A regular steer tire might cost $450. This costs about $500 per tire. But this will haul, I can put about 18,000 pounds on the front axle if I want to. The axle will hold 20,000 and the tires together will hold about 18,000, 18.5 or somewhere around in there. I only run about 13 up there, so those tires are more than enough to handle that, okay? Other people ask me also, you can, just like you did on the tractor, the trailer, sliding that rear axle, you can balance the weight. You can also balance the weight between these two axles up front, the steer axle and the drive tandems. You can balance that by sliding your fifth wheel forward and backwards. And people ask me, other drivers that know, they ask me, why do you slide your fifth wheel so far back all the time? Well, for one, the more weight I push back on there, the more it lifts up. I'm actually lighter. When I put the trailer on, it's slightly lighter in the front than it is when I'm bobtail. Not by much, but just a little. But the main reason is, so I have clearance. This truck was not built for this, all the air hoses that are right in, right there, all those air hoses. When they built this truck, they had the idea of putting air hoses down underneath, which you can do. And that gives all that room to swing. Of course, this truck was built for a flatbed with a little bit of overhang stuff on the front, things like this. You know, cargo that can hang over the front of the trailer. And they didn't want all those air hoses in the way. So they put the air hoses up underneath, which I don't have. Because I have to haul these kind of trailers, I have to put the air hoses up here. And when I told my mechanic, when I bought the truck, I asked him to put the air hoses on there, and he put it kind of too far back, which is all right. I just slide the fifth wheel all the way back, and I've got enough room to turn with the trailer. The trailer swing won't tear up my air hoses. So that's why I do that. I run it back there for one, it lengthens it out. For two, it rides a little bit better. For three, sometimes we haul like beverage trailers, and they have a real short where the landing gear is, the dollies, right there, the landing gear. Sometimes those landing gear on those are real far forward, and the pin is right at the very front of the trailer. So this is about a 30-inch setback, whereas a beverage trailer, the pin's maybe only a foot setback. With that, if I had my fifth wheel slid farther forward and I hooked up to a beverage trailer, my tail, right there, my mud flaps and tail lights and my fenders would hit the bottom of the beverage trailer. So because we haul those kind of trailers, I just slide it all the way back and just leave it there. It works fine for me. Okay, so we taught you how to do the trailer. Now we're going to show you how to do the tractor. Right up here on the back of the truck, where the fifth wheel is, there's a slider. I'm going to turn you around here and show you this. I'm going to turn around. There we go. All right, pin and follow mode. There we go. All right, as you can see right underneath here, there's the fifth wheel back here. It's underneath the trailer now, of course, as I'm hooked up. But on the side, there's a little pin, and there's an air cylinder in the center, and that knocks that pin out. When you flip the switch on the dash, it knocks that pin out, which makes this whole truck here slides back and forth. And it slides back and forth on this rail right here, and inside this, not on here, but inside this rail, and these are the notches that lock it in. And these notches are about 175 pounds per notch. So let's say you needed to shift about 1,000 pounds forward on the truck. You'd count out 1,000 divided by 175, which would be what, about 5 to 6 notches, and you would slide 6 notches, and you need to put the pins back in. Okay, you hit the air cylinder, and the pins would pop back in. All right, I don't slide this ever. When I first bought this truck, I slid it to the back. I ain't touched it since. So, but that's all run by this. Like here, this air power. That air power goes back to this air cylinder. Well, there's a switch on the dash that provides that air for you. All right, now I forgot to tell you. I'll turn you around again. There we go. All right, I forgot to tell you on these trailers. I think there might be more light under now since we slid the tandem up. I'm going to give you a different angle of this. But these notches are about what, I don't know, 6 inches, center to center, about 6 inches. Those are what we known as 500-pound holes. Some trailers have holes that are only about 2.5 to 3 inches, and we call them 300-pound holes. So the same kind of deal. If you need to move a couple thousand pounds, then you divide 2,000 pounds divided by 2,000 or 500 per hole. That means you need to slide four holes forward, okay, or backwards, whichever way you want to transfer the weight. So back here on the back, maybe a better shot of the truck. Yeah, maybe not. It's too dark. There we got the light. Okay, see the truck on each side, or the tracks, and then the truck sits inside those tracks. That's how it all works, people. I hope I answered a few questions on this. Maybe a little bit more in-depth, detailed kind of thing, but some people have no idea how that works, and some people, drivers and stuff, we all understand that, but you had to learn it somewhere. So when I first started trucking, I had no idea, had no idea they transferred weight that way. But it's just to get your axles weight straight, so that you conform to the highway weight limits, the DOT weight limits and stuff. That's why we pull into those scales. Pull in the scale to weigh the truck, make sure you're not overweight, make sure that your axles aren't overweight, and then make sure the rest of the truck is in good maintenance, in good shape. Make sure your paperwork's in order, and make sure your logbook's in order, and the whole 9 yards. That's what scales are for. So to me, they're just a way for the state to make a bunch of money. Oh well, but anyway, that's just me. Anyway, we'll get back to rolling here, and I hope I answered some of your questions there. If I didn't, leave a comment. So, ciao. I gotta get to rolling.